Hey, wait a second. That's my screen. That's the wrong screen, dude. That is what happened a second ago by Zach Ciota. Yes, welcome back to the HVAC Shop Talk podcast in live form here in the morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. And if you're on the West Coast, good morning. Get out of bed. You're late for work. What's up, everybody? Hey, man, how's it going? I was thinking about this morning down here in my shop, if you will. It's a beautiful shop. I do a lot of work down here. We have a wonderful AC and heating system back here. It's multiple stages, multiple set points. You can switch between low stage heat, 900 watts, high stage heat, 1500 watts. There's a lot of variability, and it is fantastic. It is fantastic. Thomas, it must be early where Thomas is at. He's in California, 625. 625 is very early. What's up, Steven? Dr. Steven Strange. What's up? You're not strange though, so I don't no, disregard that. Good morning, guys. I was working on my gonna do a HVAC song in the spirit of Procol Harum for those of you who like good music and not modern music. Procol Harum sung, the whiter shade of pale. I was thinking of, just picturing in my mind what I would do. And you're sitting there, it goes like da 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 da. I was thinking about doing a little bit of I tripped the last AC breaker and I found it on the wall. And then I just go from there. And it would be just a beautiful thing. That's as far as I've gotten so far, though. But Procol Harum, that's good stuff. Post Top Street Light 105, you're in Queensland? Queensland, I'm assuming that's Australia. I'm trying to remember. The reason why I cannot remember as fast as I should remember is one of my favorite channels that has like power tool stuff is a guy named Tools and Stuff, and he's in New Zealand. So I always think about New Zealand now first, but I think you're Australia. I have to know. The latency's so long, it's going to be an hour before he's able to answer me. What's up, Eddie HVAC? Let's see, we got Eddie HVAC, Post Top Street Light. Post Top Street Light. I like that. It's a real good ASMR. Post Top Street Light. It's really nice. Australia. Good. I win the quiz. What do I win? Nothing. Just your viewership, my friend, for life. That's required now, so don't go anywhere. We have Thomas Sleck, as I mentioned before, everything HVACR. What's up in the HVAC fam? That's all of us together. We're the fam. We're the fam. All of us, okay? Together. So, gotta talk about some disappointing stuff. Disappointing stuff. I should play some disappointing music while that happens. Hold on. Play some disappointing music. Well, no one claimed the CPS IAQ Pro prize. I don't know why. People don't want fancy prizes, but we're going to give it away again. I can't do that the whole time. That's difficult. So I was giving away this CPS IAQ Pro. This little booger, it's like $500 or something. The CPS IAQ Smart Air will let you know what's in the air. It's pretty cool. It's really neat. I thought people would be like, that's awesome. I'm have to win that. And somebody won it and didn't even want it. It's like, good night of living, people. So I'm going to give it away again. Like we did on the last one, we're doing a thing now where we do the Upside app. Basically, it's a gas-saving app. You download it and use it using my code, which benefits me. And that's what I get out of it. And then you guys could win something and you save on gas too. So it's pretty good. Now I'm going to give away the CPS IAQ Pro Smart Air again to people. And if you don't have that link, I'll put it in the description after the video's over. I posted it on my community tab on YouTube. So if you go back, you'll find the link that you need. You can always email me, hvacshoptalk@gmail.com, but you're going to have to download it using my link. So that's the only way I can see you on the other end. And I know, and I can tell you all, let me tell you all who I have on there so far. I'm not going to tell you the names. I'm going to tell you we have a few people here. I think there was like 6 or 7 because there's not a whole lot. I mean, you could win something fairly easily. All right. So I look down at my Earn More tab because you get like a little 1 cent per gallon for people who do that. So it looks like under the active, because you have to get gas for it to show up down here. There's one, two, three. My wife doesn't count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people right now, and then there's another few that are that have the app but haven't gotten gas yet. So it's a pretty good gig right there. I've earned a lot of money on this app. I mean, I've earned probably about $160, $170 now. It's really nice. It works really well, and it's convenient. I mean, the gas stations are around here. Not every gas station's on this thing, but there's plenty of them. So you could win the IAQ Pro. You could win this flare gauge. This is the yellow jacket. Let's see, the yellow jacket. C 60297. 60297 goes from 3/4 inch down to 1/4 inch. You know if your flares are right. Here, let me see if I can put my eye right here on the gauge. Do you know if your flares are right? Get your flares right, okay? Win something, all right? Win something. Post-op streetlight, we'll get right back to your comment because I feel like it's going to praise me, so I like it. All right, and I'm also going to give away this bag here, which is thumb gum. Here's a more ASMR. That's a thumb gum bag, and this stuff's cool. Like if you have where a thermostat wire goes into an air handler, furnace, or something, you want to seal it up, thumb gum is the way to go. So we're gonna give away all 3 of those, and I'll give them away in a few days, maybe this weekend. I'll probably give you a little bit longer because it takes a couple days for it to show up in the app. So I don't want someone to get it at the last minute and be like, "Oh man, I didn't even qualify." But we'll do more giveaways for that stuff. So therefore and whereas, I'm going to come over here to the chat, see if I can pop it out here. Got the pop out chat. It's always the way to go. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens so we can see the chat. All right. So let me see if I can enlarge. I can actually see the chat here. Excellent. So Post Top Streetlight says, "Hey, one of my favorite videos that you made was on the GE Weathertron heat pump, and I have been trying to build that unit." Post Top Streetlight, what do you mean you're trying to build a Weathertron heat pump? You have to go back into a time machine there, right? To go, all right, Orson, you have to go back in time to get one of those. So I'm interested. Maybe Post Op, are you one of them guys that like old air conditioners and like to photograph them? Because I've noticed on YouTube there is a plethora of guys that like to photograph old air conditioners as they run and like see them like the defrost smoke shoot up and stuff like that. Tell me, are you in that genre? Is that your category? Eddie HVAC says, "I have the app already. How can I get in the giveaway?" Hey, that's an interesting question, Eddie. I don't know about that. Let's see. I was thinking about letting the members do it, but I don't think you're a member. I was thinking about adding members, so I might do that on the next one. Let the members get in on it too. But since I didn't announce it that way this time, I'm not going to do it this time. So that's going to be an option for the future. That's a future option right there. All right, we'll see here. Post Top says, "I do like old units." Hey, man, I like old units too. I think they're all right. I really do. So I'm going to minimize the chat again. I can still see you guys. It's just I'm looking at other stuff too at the same time. I'm going to put it back into the slot where it goes. You can ploop it out, and then you can reploop it and unploop it. That's all. So I was going to look at some of the comments on my videos here because I got some good ones, and they spur a lot of good conversation. So let's take a look over there at the old YouTube studio. So Tony McKay says, "Hilarious." That's good. That was a nice little video right there. The Bosch heat pump lover made me laugh too. That's why I made a little snippet of it. I had a video called Heat Strip Sizing and Application that I released a few days ago. RJ Parker says, "Older 60s neighborhoods sometimes have residential 3-phase, primarily originally used with GE 3-phase ACs to gain efficiency and eliminate compressor run caps. Staging sections of heat strips is a smart thing when you get to 15 kilowatts or more, as is employing interlocks for warmer ambient temps when used with heat pumps." So I was mentioning how they have 3-phase power on some houses. I've seen it on videos. I have never, ever seen 3-phase on a house here. We live on the coast of North Carolina. We have a lot of really old neighborhoods. He's saying 60s neighborhoods. Maybe it's specific to that particular time period. We have a lot of stuff that originated before that because we are on the coast. It's the original 13 colonies here. So we have a lot of stuff that goes back to before 1900 that's still up and built. And a lot of these houses are still lived in. My parents' house was built in 1909. It's still lived in. They've remodeled it, but it's still good to go after all these years. So let's see what else we got here. Kangaroo God says nothing stranger than a kinky HVAC video. I released a video there called "Can an HVAC Condensate Pump Beat My Torture Test?" And basically, what I was doing is I was using one of our Beckett pumps because Beckett's a sponsor. Sponsor shout out. Beckett, making pumps for the last 472 years. I don't know if that's accurate, and I really doubt that it is, since electricity really wasn't a mainstay till much after that. But Beckett does make great pumps, and this will count as their advertisement for this particular show. And this video contains, one of their pumps doing a fine job, so that's doubly good. What I did was I crimped off one of the vinyl tubing lines that comes off these condensate pumps just to see how much it affects the flow rate. And although the first time I did it, it didn't affect it much. The second time I put like a kink in it, which is what Kangaroo God's referring to, a kinky HVAC video. Whenever I put a kink in it, it slowed down considerably. So it's worth a watch to see if you run into this issue in the field and you see a potential issue. You might want to fix it because it will definitely cause problems with flow rate. And if you get into a high flow environment like the summer where we're condensing, it may be a problem. And I mean condensing heavily on the evaporator coil is what I'm referring to. Bob Hartley, Afwa. I'm just kidding. Great videos and instruction on HVAC work. I am amazed how you sometimes work in crawl spaces with low clearance and wet plastic to get the job done. I tell you what, it's a miracle to me too. I'm glad I don't do it anymore because there's a lot of horrible environments around here and I do not want to be part of them at all. And I'm actually going to do a sponsor real quick because I have to cough pretty badly. So I'm going to put a sponsor up. We'll do a couple of those, then I'll come back. It's been a while since I've been on this program, so if these sponsors don't exactly line up on the screen, I will tend to that quickly. So what is Company Cam all about? It's about real-time job site updates, live feeds from the site. It's about communication between you and your team via the app. It's about knowing exactly what's going on, what's been done, and what hasn't been done. It's about liability protection, documentation, and communication. Find out more at companycam.com. EWC Controls makes forced air zoning products that you can trust. And on the screen right here is the model URD. This is the backbone here. This is your air control damper. The sizes range from 4-inch models all the way up to 20-inch models, and the CFM ranges from 40 CFM all the way up to 2500 CFM. Find out more about URD dampers and everything else EWC Controls offers at their website, ewccontrols.com. This is the Navac NP2 DLM break-free cordless vacuum pump. Unlike most vacuum pumps, these run off of battery power. No more cords across a roof, no more looking for a plug. These pumps use high-performance lithium-ion batteries powering a brushless DC motor. Features include isolation ball valve, backflow prevention check valve, and an ultimate vacuum of 23 microns. Plus, it's probably the lightest vacuum pump you'll ever own. This is the MP2 DLM vacuum pump from Navac. Okay, I think that's better now. I think I'll be all right. So, we're talking about the crawl space work. Man, if you're in any southern state, you're going to get into a lot of crawl space work. And a lot of these crawl spaces, as you go east, they get worse. And the reason why when you go east, they get worse, well, it's because all the houses are way older. As the houses were older, they didn't have anything in the crawl space. They didn't have to jack it up because they were insulating or adding plumbing. You'll see that a lot of the houses in my area, the older homes, have plumbing pipes run on the outside. They have waste lines run down the outside of the house because they didn't have plumbing when they were built. You'll see all sorts of provisions. You'll see wiring run up the side in chases and channels. Now, it can be safely done, but the best thing to do is kind of rip things up and do it how you have to do it, because these older homes, they likely need structural support, too. So you had to add some of that as well, because they were built, the studs were about 24, 30 inches apart. They weren't 16, and they didn't have the proper spacing in load support, especially we go adding more of our modern stuff to the house. They were rough cut though, which means when you had a 2x4, it was 2 inches by 4 inches. It wasn't 1.5 by 3.5. It was a full 2x4, and you could see bark on the side. Kind of cool, but it limits your spacing because when you get in a crawl space, they didn't have to put anything down there. So the crawl spaces were tight. There are some crawl spaces around here which a man cannot fit in at all. Even when you run something, like if you want to run a line set to somewhere, you have to feed it across the crawl space and grab it from inside and pull it up through a hole or something like that, which is difficult. You can't support it. Doesn't mean you can't run it that way. There's a lot of line sets that hang on the ground. We all know that. And doesn't mean it's going to die early or something like that. But you would like to support things and do things the right way. And you can't always do that. You can't run ductwork down there. So then you get into mini split land. So then you got to change the units every 4 years when a mini split dies. Because that's what mini splits do, guys. They die every 4 years or earlier. I think it's at least 4. Mitsubishi might be 5. I'm not sure. I have to check with Ralph on that. But I don't have a lot of faith in them. And you can tell that through all these years. All right, let's keep on going down. Paul Mighty says, where is the C-wire hookup for this unit? I'm trying to install a smart thermostat and it needs a C-wire. Hey, is it the Nest? I don't know. Is it the Nest or something? I have tried to use the G-wire in the C-wire location. I don't know where the logic is there on the thermostat, but it will not power it on. So Paul is wondering, can you just switch a bunch of wires on the thermostat and it work perfectly? Like some kind of Jedi thing? No, you cannot do that. You cannot just put random wires in places and like turn it on and go like this and see what happens. That's a bad idea. There are plenty of units. Most of them have a C-wire. At least the equipment has a C-wire. A lot of thermostats don't have C-wires because they'll be battery powered. They don't require that common wire. If you have functions that are running like LEDs and memory functions and almost like a little CPU in there, you're going to need a common wire. You're not going to want to run that off a battery. In fact, a lot of them have a common wire and a battery. They'll have the little watch style batteries with a common wire. And I don't know of a unit that I can think of that doesn't have a common wire connection at it. And this unit he's referring to looks like it's a Train XL 1400 package unit. I know they have common wire connections. I know they're in there. I don't know why this guy can't find it. Perhaps someone didn't run a wire to the thermostat before, and now he doesn't know which one it is. And frankly, I can't remember which one it is in the XL 1400 because common, over the years, for different manufacturers, the common wire is brown, it's gray. I want to say, I know it's blue. Blue is really common. And I want to say black as well. I'm not positive about the black, but I'm pretty sure there's a black common out there. But I know gray, brown, and blue. And this guy sounds like he's not a professional. I'm just going to use that as my opinion. He might be the most professional, but I think he's not at all professional. Just saying. I'm not trying to judge. I'm not judging. I'm just saying he looks like he's not professional. So let's go back to the chat, guys. See if you guys have any cool chat things that you want to say. Let's see if any cool chat things are up here. Let's see. Post Top Streetlight says, you're one of my favorite YouTubers. Post Top Streetlight, you're one of my favorite Australians. Eddie HVAC says, cool. I guess that's about the giveaway stuff. And let's see. Raw Mesa says, sup, Zach? Raw Mesa, what's up to you, man? Thank you for watching. Good viewer. Lizaraga says, what's going on, fellas? I'm looking for a job in Northern Virginia. If you're in Northern Virginia and you need an employee who has a Zoom lock, Lizaraga is your employee. We gave you a Zoom lock, Lizaraga. You go get that job and you join without fire. Post Top Streetlight says, I am not a big fan of mini split units because I work on them all the time. You know, I don't work on them very often, but just the construction of them and everything in my bones when I look at them says, you're not going to last long. That's just what I feel. I'm probably wrong, but I could be wrong. Okay. Thomas Lex says, mini splits last 20 years. Those are magic mini splits. I don't know what you're talking about, Thomas. That is not the case here. Here, we chuck them off the wall and chuck a new one, just like the change of seasons or something. That's amazing, though. I wonder if there's something about location that's factoring in there. That's weird. Because Thomas, I know he's a smart guy, so he knows how to work on them. But why are his lasting so long and ours not? Maybe we're buying cheaper ones. I don't know what it is. John Harrell says, ground it. Got to ground it out. Ground the unit. You can ground something. Yeah, you can just go to ground. There's a ground for the house. All grounds lead to ground. You know what I'm saying? All grounds lead to the ground. Remember that. Mini splits suck. There's some differing opinions out here in the chat. Depends on the technicians who installed them. Well, I like to think I installed it, so it lasts a long time. All right, let me think back on all the mini splits I've installed, because I'm talking as reference from the ones I run into. Just thinking in my head, everything HVACR is he's echoing the point. Install is everything. Okay, so I'm going back. I installed the Cooper Hunter on my office. It's doing great. Okay, it's been a year, maybe, I don't know, a year, maybe not quite a year. I installed the first mini split. I'm trying to think of the ones I installed personally, like not for my father back in the day. I don't know how those are doing. Mini split, the Mitsubishi I installed, I do believe is still going. That's 11 years ago. So I guess that is a good long time. My opinion's going to change. Watch out. Let's see. I don't know about the Sanyo. I have never seen that Sanyo again. I'm trying to think of the ones I actually see again. I don't see a whole lot anymore since I don't do a lot of field work. I don't see them anymore. But as far as I know, all the ones I put in, I think we're having no issues. Except for, there is one from my brother-in-law, but it's still in action. It's needed a control board, and had a refrigerant leak. And that one was probably 6 or 7 years old. It was fixed, and it's fine. And truthfully, it really wasn't the unit's fault on the control board because it was covered in frogs. That's right. You ever seen the movie Magnolia? It's like that. There's frogs everywhere. And I'm sure one of the frogs crawled into the wrong spot, and he went to go meet Jesus. Let's see. I improperly installed train or courier last 1 year before roasting a compressor. Train or courier? He's voice texting, I think. So it says train as in a choo-choo train and courier as in a letter courier. Interesting. A properly installed Goodman rolling downhill with the back wind can last 20 years. All right. I just don't even believe Goodman can last 20 years. Of course they can. I've seen a lot of older ones that lasted a long time. And I do believe some of the older units could take a beating a little bit better. It seems like they were a little bit tougher back in my day. The units were tougher. Or something like that. I don't know. All right, let's go take a look at some more comments, and we'll come back to the chat, guys. In case you're wondering, I was thinking about taking phone calls, but my stupid phone, the charging port, isn't working. It's like intermittent. And the charging port's where I plug the adapter to plug it into the system here so I can take your phone calls. So hopefully, like, I can take your phone calls eventually. That's what we're working on. That's the goal. But I don't know. I don't know when that's going to be because this thing sucks. That's all I'm going to say. Wireless charging for now. We'll see. Or just make sure everything's just perfect. I might try it. We'll see what happens. Crash and burn. Let's look back over at the comments here. Blaze of glory on my HVAC side work disagreement video. A smart employer will get it in writing. A signed non-compete agreement with my last two. I signed non-compete agreements with my last two. Another guy at the shop got licensed and they sent out the forms. I kept the fact that I just got mine to myself, but I made a clean break. Had nothing lined up when I took the leap, which made things more difficult, but I wanted to keep my reputation as an honest guy. 6 months later, the former employer told my train rep they weren't comfortable with him doing business with me and effectively closed my account. Business is business. Oh, I gotta give him a heart, man. Thanks for that comment, dude. So, the last part. 6 months later, the former employer told my train rep they weren't comfortable with him doing business with me and effectively closed my account. Business is business. That is awful. I cannot believe that. So this guy wanted to be an honest guy. He wanted to go out on his own. He didn't telegraph that he was going out on his own. I don't know. You don't technically have to telegraph that you're going to go out on your own. You don't have to tell your boss that you're going to go out on your own. That's not required. But his boss did something. And I know this because I hate this because I have seen this where my father wanted to become, I think, a train dealer or ream dealer. I can't remember which it was. He wanted to become one. And he was in the proximity to this other company was 30 minutes. It was like 25, 30 minutes from their shop to his shop. They stepped in, intervened, and squashed his request to become a dealer. They told him, they gave him a line of BS, I guess, because that's a story I think I've told it here before, where I'm sitting in the truck and I'm a kid, teenager, maybe 20, somewhere in there. The guy walks out and says, "Hey, man, that guy's in there lying to your dad." I was like, what is he talking about? So evidently there was a whole thing about they're just misleading, and it is business. Business is like that, but that's unethical. It's unethical. Now, the boss might have felt like, hey, this guy shouldn't have done this to me. He shouldn't have walked out and done this, but hey, that doesn't give the boss a right to just go and crap on this guy's business. I think that's a big problem nowadays where if something bad happens to somebody, they feel justified in revisiting it on somebody else they think deserves it. Someone gets into a tough spot, all of a sudden they think they're entitled to vengeance or something free, maybe. That's what always happens, right? That's the inclination. If you suffer, you want to make someone else suffer, preferably someone that you think deserves it that never got the suffering they deserved. And of course, as good as that might feel in the short term, that is wrong. And I think that's what's going on here with Blaze of Glory. It's just a darn tootin' shame that happened to him, but I'm sure you can just move on, train. Okay, it's good stuff, but I mean, there's other good stuff out there. Like everybody likes to say all the time, it's all the same. It's all the same, man. Install is what matters. Just install it. Of course, Blaze might install it badly too. He might need the help of Trey. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm sure Blaze is a fine individual. So let's go back to the. Oh, Jake Porter says, thanks for the video. Hey, thanks, Jake. He's been watching for a long time. Bam! I love that comment. All right, for side work disagreement, we'll do one more. Mr. Patter, 19888. When I worked for commercial employers, I would do residential side work. They never saw a problem with that and would sometimes send stuff my way. All right, that's kind of like an opposite situation. I'm not going to lie. I did not have separate nitrogen or B tanks. I would use my own truck, though. As a residential business owner these days, when I get employees, I would rather them reserve side work to helping friends and family. I would be able to pay them enough that they don't have to do it. Bam! Love that comment. I just love all the comments here on the show. When y'all aren't around, I don't heart anything. I'm like, the heck with you guys. I think it's a good attitude. I think the lesson there would be you must learn to communicate. Communicate well with your employees. What are your intentions? Do you want them to do this stuff? Do you want them to know not to do it? So if something happens, there's a very clear deciding line. You can say, hey, you did this. I didn't want you to do this. I communicated this with you, so therefore you are without job now. Or go out and do whatever you want. I don't care. Well, how much work can one guy do? Is he going to cripple our company going out there doing his one guy work in his spare time? If that guy cripples your company, he's working 24 hours a day or your company sucks. That doesn't mean it's ethical. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to have a big effect on it, me personally. Because think about how much work one guy can do after working all day. It ain't going to be a whole lot. All right, let's see here. Tell you what, we'll take a little break. We'll come back here after these messages from our sponsor, Cornflakes. This is the YJack Mano dual port manometer. This is what we have all been waiting for. A YJack probe where you can take your static pressure and check blower performance in real time. Part number 67068 from Yellow Jacket. Take accurate static pressure measurements up to plus or minus 80 inches of water column. Includes hoses, static pressure probes, and adapter fittings. The YJack Mano manometer, 67068. All right, the only other sponsor, the only other sponsor that they have is TrueTechTools.com. Use a Shop Talk discount code to save 8%. It's going to save you so much money if you buy something real expensive. All right, I was looking down here. I saw a couple more. I got to do a couple more comments because this guy looks like he's going to be entertaining. Okay, so this is the side work thing. I said it was the last one, but I lied. Del Perez. Also, let me start with this other one since he's saying also. The number one rule of side work is that you don't get caught. I like that, guys. The number one, oh man, where'd it go? The number one rule of side work is that you don't get caught. Do the work, but be smart. Don't go in uniform or a company truck. If you do side work and you show up in your other company uniform, you are a dumb butt. Also, don't be a shyster. Provide warranties. All right, well, that's a good thing right there. I like that. Hey, If you work for ARS and you're doing side work, don't drive up in an ARS truck. Okay? That would be stupid. His second comment here, also never let a customer find out who you work for. Some are twats that don't like bad news. They will say, Dell from this company was trying to rip me off by offering a new unit over replacing a compressor on a 30-year POS. Oh, I like Dell. He's a working guy. You can tell. You get a heart, Dell. You get a heart, man. All right, let's call it at that one. That's enough comment reading for today. That's funny though. Oh, good stuff. All right, let's see here. Any more comments out here? I think that was about it. Hello, Skepert Solution, Skiport Solution. A solution for a ski port is to build an airplane hangar. I don't know. Let's see, Thomas. If an employee can't make enough to feed his family and pay rent and not live like a serf from the medieval times, he needs to do side work. Yeah, it would be bad though if you had like a good job, did all this work, and still couldn't make it. You must be in California. I remember a news story where there's guys making $12 an hour that lived in homeless shelters in California because the cost of living was so high. So that's probably the cure, is to leave California, then go to Texas while they're working on turning that into California. All right. Yeah, John Harrell says ARS will let you go quick for that. I bet they will. All right, dudes. I'm going to bust up out of here. I just wanted to hang out with you guys a little bit in the morning and get you started on your day. I hope I did. I hope you guys started well and you have a good day. If anybody has questions about the giveaway, CPS giveaway here, CPS IAQ Pro Smart Air, sign up for the Upside app. I'll try to put a link in the description in the next few minutes here right after I get off. And after that, let's work hard, guys. And I'll see you on the next one.